everybody! It is your best friends, Irrational Radio. And instead of an Old for Gold episode, because as you see, there is only 3 of us, we are instead going to do one of these Darning Watch short story one-shots. Now, if you've been familiar with our podcast at all, you've heard a couple of these already. This is the first time one is going to be streamed. But a little bit of background on the Darning Watch themselves. They're a mysterious group of problem solvers that exists across the continent of Paralandia that are called in whenever troubles seem a little bit too out of hand for the local governments. They are called in to solve mysteries that seem to have no reasonable conclusion, or to defeat monsters that are too powerful for even a platoon of soldiers to tackle. These guys are right now in the country of Crestguard. The Darning Watch mystery that we are going to do is about some missing pets. I will give the description, but first I'm going to introduce the 2 below me. Of course, you guys know the John down there to my left, I think? I don't know. And then Mr. E, they're on the other side below me. They are both going to be playing some Darning Watch characters that they have rolled up for this, not necessarily for this one shot, because Eric is retaking the mantle for his, but John has made a brand new character for us tonight. So
in an hour, kind of less.
In an hour, which is pretty amazing. You know, I'm very impressed. So, all right, starting with you, Eric. Tell us about your Darning Watch character.
Sure. I'm playing Drake Sovereign, who is a crusty. He's basically like a Sam Spade, 50s Private Eye type character. And he grumbles a lot and smokes too much. But he's got a heart of gold, and he's out there to, punch evil in the face. And he's not super cleanly, and he keeps all of his notes on tiny scraps of paper in various pockets in his giant trench coat.
The best place to keep them.
Those are the important details.
That's really what encapsulates his character, the essence.
Right. A lot of punching.
A lot of notes taking.
A lot of notes. A lot of crumpled paper. All right, John, what about you? Give us the download on your character.
I am playing Tallow Creekwind. He is a halfling paladin who turned from highway robbery to less highway robbery.
Less highway.
Right. He basically found a way, as he was about to kill a man for the first time. A goddess reached out to him and spoke some words to him that he needed to hear at the time, and it changed his life. Instead of becoming a serial killer, he changed his ways, left his band, and became a paladin who tries to convert other highway robbers to his fold, because his goddess, Skulka, is not well known, and she didn't do it exactly for good reasons. Like, she wanted to help him, but also she didn't have a lot of followers. She's like kind of a newer god. So more than anything, she's trying to get a following and use
marketing,
Tallow as a way to do that.
Oh,
he's just.
We already lost OBS.
Wow, that's a record.
Yeah, that's a record. Actually, it seems
we have
like
a 1-minute clip from the last stream, so.
Right. That's okay.
Like when he's up on the billboard, but he has a sticker in front of his face instead.
And we are back. Sorry about that, folks. My internet, of course, is being difficult as always.
It wouldn't be an episode without it.
No, it really wouldn't without the internet crapping out at least once. So we got to stick to what makes us here.
We can't get straight from the path.
Right, exactly. So you were telling us about Skulka.
Oh, yes. So she's a goddess who really doesn't have a following. She's kind of newer in the scene. She's probably new to Paralandia, so she doesn't know her way around. Tallow is kind of stuck to the roads, so he knows the roads well, but he doesn't know anything else.
Okay.
He is a conduit for her to gain a following. which also
Interesting.
helped him not become a murderer. It's a win-win, really.
All right, excellent. And I understand this character has not been with the Darning Watch for very long, too.
Right. He had
Oh, yeah,
just
that's right.
joined the Darning Watch recently because he thought, what better way to expand his horizons than going out on these sort of interesting escapades? And hopefully, as he normally does, hoping to be robbed halfway through their journey so he can help someone else like him.
Well, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, so the mystery that you guys have been sent to this sleepy little Crestguard town is as follows. In the fields of Crestguard lies the sleepy town of Esterbury, which has been a small, unassuming trading village for as long as anyone can remember. These kinds of cities are pretty common in the human nations of Paralandia, only to exist to let local farmers have a connection to the greater Paralandian trade network. So they really don't get a whole lot of visitors from outside of the country itself, as well as they're very insulated from large cultural shifts or even different ideas from other countries. So not necessarily xenophobic, but more backwards than you'd find in capital cities along in the human nations. It has been, like I said, a quiet, unassuming town up until about a week ago when a plague of giant rats beset the town. And we're not talking like, oh, they're a foot long. We're talking about rats that are the size of small dogs that, gnaw the hands and feet off of babies and get into storerooms and cause all manner of horrible, horrible things. Messing the food supplies, destroying furniture, property, and damaging people. The town was so beset that they tried to find an answer as quickly as possible. And out of the woods came a mysterious woman who promised, a mysterious woman with a lute that promised to draw the rodents out for a large amount of money. The townsfolk got together, including the Mayor Cedric Fiddlestomper, who decided that the payment was generous enough, or was enough that they were willing to pay to solve this giant rat problem. Well, she played her lute, and all of the rats came out of the wells, the storehouses, the bedrooms, from under the beds, and lined up in the street and marched out of town. A day later, she came back and asked for the payment, but Mayor Fiddlestomper was pretty suspect of this mysterious woman, claiming that she, with her druidic power, somehow drove the rats to town so she could drive them off once again and collect a hefty bounty. He refused to pay, saying that she was in league with the vermin. In response, she played a different song that caused everybody in town to grow weak and ill to the point where they could not move from their spot, and it felt like the world was crushing them. And all their pets and all their precious animals were released, either by magic or through the animal's own physical effort, and lined up in the street just like the rats, and were marched out of town with her, the mysterious druid woman, laughing at the head. And the last thing the townsfolk heard of her was her proclamation that if she was in league with the rats, then the cats and the dogs were also in league with them. So you guys will begin 3 days after that happened, and you are just outside of the small town of Esterbury. It is small in terms of major Paralandian cities, so it's maybe a town of 15,000, maybe a little bit less. It is a medieval hamlet in most descriptions, as in the buildings are thatched roofs, cobbles. The very important buildings are made of large gray stone that kind of look cold and unwelcoming. As you guys come up to the city, you see that there is a very large wall around it and a line in front of the city gate. It looks like the guards are checking people as well as possessions before they let anyone into the city. The day is warm. It is probably early in the day, around 11 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the trees are lightly blowing in the wind. You guys come up, crest the hill, and see the town laid out before you. What would you like to do?
11 o'clock is definitely not afternoon. Just saying.
It's noon at best.
That's very definitional. It's not afternoon, so but, whatever. It's fine.
Either way. The rest of that, totally fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. I was just sitting there like, wait for him to finish. Sorry. No, I think that Drake's first move would be to kind of look over toward. Oh God, I'm sorry. What's
Tallow.
your name? Tallow. Thank you.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, right. Looks over to Tallow and say, well, I believe that the first step will be us getting inside these city walls and checking in with those who have lost their animals. They may be able to send us on the path that we need to follow to track down this Piper. Kind of light up a cigarette and start walking in that direction, I think.
Tallow at this moment is riding on his steed, which is a Tibetan Mastiff.
Okay, nice.
I like that. Yeah.
It's a pretty big dog, and he's petting his mane as they're talking. Well, I think the biggest thing here is to actually be able to understand why all the dogs just up and fucking left. At the end of the day, do you think a magician or one of those spooky wizard sorts could actually do something like this? Those sort of things.
That is it is a common practice for the magic users to be influencing the smaller animals and things of that sort. He shrugs. It certainly seems convenient that there was one problem with animals which was solved, and then a dispute with the Piper, and immediately following that there was another problem with the animals. So it does seem that this is maybe something that's within this individual's power.
I guess the other question I have is, no one was like a weird sort of like, oh, I own exotic animal sort. Like, we're not gonna run into lions or tigers or bears and shit like that.
I think Drake just shrugs and then probably continues walking toward the line of people or whatever. Because who's to say? There could be some sort of kingpin type who likes to think that they're fancy pants and have a Bengal tiger or whatever. Who's to say?
What do you think about this, Lucy? And he looks to his dog.
It looks at you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd probably not be the most appropriate. You're right, Lucy. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even asked. I'm an idiot. You're right. And then they keep padding along.
You guys get into line. There's about 3 farmers ahead of you, each carrying a different crop. And it takes a little bit for the guard to go through each of the containers. And probably about maybe 20 minutes later, as you guys are standing in line, you guys come up.
15 cigarettes.
Yeah, he's just leaving a little line of butts down the path as you move up. That's great.
Don't smoke, kids. It's bad.
Yeah, don't smoke. Eric's character is going to die of cancer if he isn't killed by some monster.
Well, magic, who knows?
No, yeah. So you come up to the guard and he goes, "All right, stop. You're gonna have to put a leash on that dog."
Well, you're acting pretty uncanny right now, so we might have to put a leash on you too, eh?
I'm not sure I understand what that meant.
She's got reins on her. What are you expecting me to do?
I have never seen a dog with reins, but city ordinance
Is my
definitely says...
Are you saying something about my steed right now?
No. It's city ordinance. All dogs have to be on a leash.
I'd go to heaven. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sure. Look, hey, no, I've got this. And he just he kind of gestures for you to stand off, or step off your horse-sized dog or whatever. Well, I mean, not for you or whatever. And then he, holds the reins out to you, and then like puts them in your hand. He's like, "See, it is leashed."
He kind of goes, "All right, yeah, I can see where that could be a leash.
Are we good?
I suppose. What's your business in the town? You don't have any, obviously, nothing to trade."
He takes out his the pocket watch. It's got the Darning Watch insignia on it or whatever, and kind of shows it as like you flip a badge.
All right,
So
yeah,
we're here to deal with the problem.
Right. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. Mayor Fiddlestomper has been extremely stressed. You're gonna want to go talk to him immediately. He's up the path.
Is that like a family name, or is that like a title? Like, does he stomp a lot of fiddles, or is that
No,
like
it's a family name? Yeah.
That's pretty weird. I mean,
that place is like Footloose.
Well, I mean, we allow music as long as we don't steal our pets with it. That's the thing. Kind of rubs us the wrong way.
A lot of sense to me.
So, all right, yeah, go on in.
Yeah, I'll head on in. Do we, get heading toward the, I guess, the keep or whatever.
Yep, it's the house. The town is built on a little bit of a rise, and so the keep is up on the top. It's more of a manor and less of a keep, I would say. The building is pretty elegant. It has large stone reliefs set along the roof line, depicting peasants doing manual labor as a group of lords stand over them trading papers, documents, and small bundles of coin. As you enter a guard stops you at the entrance and says, "What do you think you're doing here? You can't just walk up to the mayoral manor."
Man, they really don't discuss a lot between each other, do they?
We did get here quicker than any runner would have likely. He'll flash his Darning Watch.
Oh yeah, go on in. He's waiting for one of you guys.
He's bringing Lucy.
Barely breaking stride. Yeah, I imagine we're just kind of like walking by, talking to each other, and keep going. While he's like, "Oh,
okay, whoa,
like the little pocket watch thing. I didn't get one. Like, is that like a proof of concept sort of deal? Or?
You'll learn yours in time, Proby."
Kind of fucked up. Like, how was I supposed to get in here without you?
You weren't. This was, this is one of your trial jobs, I guess.
It's kind of nice.
What was that, John? Sorry.
Where does he put the pocket watch back?
That's
where do you put the pocket watch?
One of his many pockets inside his trench coat, which is just like crumples and jingles with random crap. It's like full of junk.
It's a huge trench coat.
As we're walking, I want to try to take it from him.
Okay, yeah. Roll me a first. I'm gonna have to make you roll me a wisdom check to see if you remember which pocket it was put into.
Already, it's gonna go well.
Oh,
there's many pockets, and he didn't do it obviously.
Mm-hmm. There's about 4 right there on the inside that you're gonna pick between. That
the right
could
one.
have been options. Yeah. They all lay on top of each other too. So nice.
Not great. All right, so you reach your hand into a random pocket. Eric, what does he find in there?
Well, mostly a whole bunch of probably a whole bunch of notes and crumpled up strips of paper and like food wrappers and things that he's using as his massive filing system. Probably some random change and string, some small bits of metal, like very
roll me
obscure.
A sleight of hand, Tallow, with disadvantage.
Okay. Is there a disadvantage button?
It rolls 2 rolls for you automatically. All right, you rolled a 14. Pretty good. Drake, you need to roll a perception. And a 14, you make it. He sets the DC.
Casually. Oh, he sets the. Oh, I guess either way,
right.
Yeah, but anyway, he just slabs his hand away casually. I think this is probably like the 10th or 15th time
this is the constant thing If you caught him, you would know that every time he sees something shiny, he tries to steal it, but then he immediately returns it back to you. So he's probably taken a lot of like your pens and stuff, like that, and you would find it like back on your person before he even like brought it up.
That's great.
It's funny. So yeah, I think it's just a casual like slap your hand away kind of thing and keep walking without really addressing it too directly.
Eyes open, I didn't want you to get like caught unawares by some sort of right, Lucy. Right,
you guys
Lucy.
walk
Sure
into
that
the building.
is like with Fine Steed, it's smart enough to like talk and stuff. They have like a telepathic connection,
And
and
they
it's like a 3 intelligence animal version of whatever it is that you summon.
Yeah.
Imagination is that Lucy does not speak to him telepathically. He
Just decided not to.
yeah, and he decides to understand sometimes what she's saying.
Perfect.
That's good. I like that just as well. I think I have one of them talk in one of my other games, just like outright the horse can talk now.
Mr.
So it's
Ed.
just like, yep. Anyway, sorry.
So you
He has a French accent, actually.
So you guys walk into the building. It's very ornate, marble floor, a big ornate staircase leading up to the second floor, where an office sits behind 2 very heavy wooden double doors. The mayor is behind his desk, scribbling furiously at a stack of paper. He is an unusual-looking man with a rotund body, almost no chin, a smooth head leading up to a tuft of hair. It looks almost like an egg. Had a little bit of a tuft of hair growing at the top. He is most decidedly egg-shaped, with little spindly arms and legs. But he is still a human, if not kind of a short, squat one. He looks up to you and takes off his half-moon glasses and goes, "What do you want?"
Oh, I didn't know there were other halflings in this area. It's good to meet you.
Oh, that's, I'm not a halfling. I get that a lot, though.
I'm very sorry.
That's fine.
I say a lot of things that I don't really mean, and I don't want to harm your feelings.
What's the dog doing in here?
Oh, this is Lucy. She's
Our
She's with me.
associate.
yeah, she's helping.
All right.
Great, you can explain it better. I don't really.
Yeah, what are you doing in my office?
I'll flash the badge again.
Oh,
Say,
thank
we're looking into this disappearance of all the pets, I suppose.
Yes. I'm so glad you're here. All right. What I need you to do is I need you to go out into the lowlands and find the bitch. All you have to do is just locate her. I have got a group of men who are going to take care of the job.
I would prefer you don't use that term in front of Lucy. She doesn't take kindly to that sort of language.
Oh, okay.
It's all right, Lucy. He didn't mean it. I called him a halfling. He was just getting getting a little well-deserved revenge on me against you that was uncalled for. But you gotta let it go.
So, I'm glad you're from the Darning Watch. I've heard good things. You got here quicker than expected. Also good. So, what do you need to know to complete this?
Well, I guess her last heading would be helpful.
South, toward the lowlands, toward the Dandaris River. She's somewhere in those fucking swamps.
Any other information that we should have before we sent out? Anyone else we should talk to here in town?
Be careful. She's very crafty. I don't think you need to talk to anybody else in town. They're all just gonna tell you the same thing. She took the animals after plaguing the town with rats. She's a menace, I tell you. He slams his fist on the desk. A menace.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
That we will. Yeah, I'll kind of just smoke and stare for a second, and then nod.
I brought my dog in, and you're smoking in his office.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that doesn't stop either. It's just looks over. He says, "Okay, I think that we will probably just make our way south and follow the tracks of I guess what should be a giant herd of.
Oh yeah,
Elf
well we
pets.
tried that. It of course leads directly to the edge of the swamp, and then the tracks stop.
Okie doke. Well, outside of that, I'm not sure where else to start. So we should be able to hopefully pick up some sort of heading from there.
Well, good luck. I hope you master trackers.
Are you a master tracker, Drake?
He just takes a long drag off a cigarette while staring at you and doesn't answer.
That's all the information I need. I think Lucy can probably smell shit. I don't know.
We
Oh.
will go and check into this. Hopefully, we will have results to report back to you shortly.
Remember, you just have to locate it. I'll do the rest. I'll tell your bosses that you finished it all if you just locate it.
No one in town owns like crazy fucking exotic animals, right? Like there's no like cat man. You don't have like a bear guy who like came from the woods and has like a flock of bears with him or anything like that.
I think it's called a school of bears. But
I thought it was a blessing, but I wasn't
It's
sure.
a
Lucy said I was
murder of
wrong.
bears.
No, I don't think so. But several people have lost some pretty important pets besides to this that happened.
All right, fair enough. Are you ready to head out, Drake?
Yep, I don't think that there's much else for us to gather here. We may as well make our way toward the tracks and see what we can discover.
Good luck.
Thank you.
As they're walking out, he looks to Drake.
That guy, he looked like an egg, right? So just me. Like that was,
I was
very
going to say jelly bean, but yes.
I think jelly bean might be the way. Like he wasn't sweet as a jelly bean, you know. He was really insincere about my dog being in there. Like I didn't like that very much.
Was sort of a bit less than hospitable toward
Yeah.
our associate here.
Like if you rolled him down a hill, I think he'd probably cause more damage than his words do. But
He would definitely go faster than if he tried to get there run.
I like you, Drake. You got something. You got some spunk in you.
So you guys leave the building and head back outside. As you guys make your way back through town, you see that there are several people out on the streets or outside of the city calling names of their animals, hoping that they will somehow come running over the horizon. In particular, there is a little girl who is just like screaming her throat out at the side of the road, just bawling. The reason she stands out is the name that she's calling is Princess Victoria Cupcake. She keeps repeating that over and over. Where are you, Princess Victoria Cupcake? Everyone else is saying things like Spotty or Scott or Digger, but she is screaming, Princess
Spotty or
Victoria.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yep.
I know. What kind of fucking name is Princess Victoria Cupcake? Like that's I'm not gonna talk shit about a little girl, but like Lucy is a fine name. Spot's probably all right. The Scott guy's a little weird. I don't like it. I don't like the cut of his jib as much, but Princess Victoria Cupcake, that's a weird one.
Someone over there is yelling barrel, so and he just shrugs.
What the fuck is wrong with this town? All right, I have an idea. Let's talk to the little girl.
Okay. Sure. Let's see what's up with Princess Victoria Cupcake.
He'll ride over on Lucy. He'll hop back on her, keeping the reins as a leash, but sometimes.
Right.
And he'll look down from. I assume he's the same height as her on his mount.
Yes. Yep.
Excuse me. Are you happen to have lost an animal in this horrific incident?
Why do you have your dog?
Well, Lucy here. You can pet Lucy here. Pet Lucy.
Oh, she's soft.
Yeah, she's very soft. She's very nice. She can cook a mean meal too.
Huh?
Never mind. We're here to help. Right. We're here to help find your animals. But do you have anything that maybe belongs to Princess Victoria Cupcake?
No, my mom does. She has her collar.
And where's your mom at? Can you take us to her?
Yeah. She turns around and walks down a street just a little ways to a house, and you see that her mother is standing outside the house with her arms crossed, watching the girl. As you guys approach, she looks you up and down. And, I saw you go into the mayor's house. Are you here to help solve the problem?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Oh, well, I suppose you have some questions then?
Not really. We just need the collar.
Oh, okay. Well,
And anything else, maybe that might smell of your oddly named dog.
And he says that kind of offhandedly, like really loud, but he covers his mouth.
yes, she named him very interestingly, but he seems to love the name. He comes when he's called.
He is a Princess Victoria.
That's wonderful.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, that's kind of wholesome. I appreciate the irony in that name.
He's a large poodle, kind of pinkish too. She
How
loves
long
that
have we
dog
got
so
here?
much.
Give me like a size comparison to Lucy here.
Oh, I'd say about maybe three quarters the size, maybe a little bit more than half.
Drake, that's a big fucking dog.
It is.
Like Lucy's a big
He
fucking
just
dog.
smells. It is indeed.
She goes in the house and comes back out with a collar and a blanket. The blanket's got hearts all over it, and the collar has got a big heart in the middle, and it's pink. And she hands it to you guys and says, these are princess's things. At least what we were allowed in town. He had more, but over the last few months I've had to get rid of so many things. But these are the things we were allowed to keep.
What do you mean?
Oh, the city ordinances in town. They're difficult to live with when you have an animal in this city.
No fly zone, but for animals.
Something like that, yes. They aren't allowed outside for longer than a few minutes, and they must always be leashed. They can't use the restroom outside in the public view. They can only be fed 1 cup of food, no matter the size or the type of animal. There is very strict noise requirements and noise ordinances. That if you're broken, you'll lose your pet license, and they'll take your pet away.
You have a fucking pet license? Excuse me?
Yes. Well, see, Mayor Fiddlestomper has been very. She kind of looks around and says, draconian in how he's dealt with pets over the last few years. It's been getting worse and worse, and this whole instance is not helping things at all.
Drake, we just fucking killed this mayor, right? And then
We may not be able to recover the lost animals if we do not find our way back to this Piper. Although, I think I would find ourselves. I think we have found ourselves in a position where perhaps we do more than what the mayor has asked, and actually converse with this Piper, since it seems maybe he has more of an incentive to keep these animals away than to bring them back, perhaps.
he might be keeping them safe, to be honest. Like this town doesn't sound very friendly to household pets, which is weird because even like the lower tier sort of like povertous sort of areas that I've been through in my adventures.
Impoverished, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Like the improv. The poor ones were
Yes, and
very open to animals. So this seems like a peculiar sort of situation.
It is. And the mayor is as he has good reasons though for why he instituted these policies. He's not doing it just because he's insane or cruel-hearted. There is a tale behind it, I suppose.
What
I
what is
Tail
that?
because they're animals.
Huh.
Nice. Very good.
Would you like to come inside for some tea? I would feel better about discussing this inside rather than on the street.
Sure.
You can
Sure,
bring
go ahead.
Lucy if you'd like.
All right, I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to be like the awkward one. So yeah, come on, Lucy, let's go inside.
And he'll hop off her back.
So you guys
Yeah,
head
head
inside.
inside.
Oh, go on.
No, I just and then we head inside. Sorry, I'd say the same thing you were.
She sits you down and brews some tea pretty quick and comes back out and sits down and hands you guys some saucers as well as a small bowl of water for Lucy. And she says, well, you see, about 5 years ago, the blacksmith had a guard dog, very large and mean animal. He whipped it and abused it every day so that it would be as vicious as possible to guard his scrapyard. Well, the mayor's son decided to cross that scrapyard one day, and the dog got a hold of him and killed him. The blacksmith, of course, fled the city, but the mayor was beside himself and declared that no one should have to suffer what he suffered and began passing ordinances on animals. At first, it was just large dogs, but it's gotten to the point where a cat can't even be seen through the window. You can't even feed your animal how much you'd like because it's in some way hurting the city. Again, I don't think he's a bad mayor. He has done great things for Esterbury in the past. It's just this is something that he can't let go, I suppose.
Could you imagine him employing this piper to engage in some sort of, whatever sort of obscure effort to rid the city of the threat that he sees or whatever?
She kind of puts her hand to her chest and goes, "My goodness, I would hope not. I can't even imagine such a thing. The mayor certainly acted as if the world was crashing down around him when the rats were here. He was writing letters and sending ravens and doing whatever in his power to try to get someone here. He even wrote to Gira. He was trying to get a master mage out here, and none of it worked until the strange lady from the forest came out. And I think that's why he is so suspicious of her, is because no one seemed to take this seriously until she showed up and did what she did."
It is quite convenient that someone who is so well suited to solve the problem happened to show up immediately after it was caused, as
I
it
agree.
sounds.
And she was a wild woman. She was sort of terrifying to behold, honestly. I couldn't imagine sitting down and having tea with her like this.
Yeah, it's pretty sarin. Pretty interesting that would happen.
Yes.
Drake just smokes and stares at you.
Lucy, you're right. It's serendipitous.
She laughs at her water bowl, nearly eating the bowl.
Yeah, knocking it all the way across the room while she's drinking.
Following it in circles around the room as she
Yeah.
pushes.
Getting most of it outside of the bowl.
Sorry, I'm like I can clean that up.
Oh no, it's okay. It's all right. It's actually it's a welcome sight after Princess disappeared.
I'm really sorry to hear that you lot have been dealing with something so mundane yet so attached to the soul.
Yes. Well, it's life, I suppose. Is there anything else I can get you? Any questions I can answer?
I cannot think of anything that to ask, but if there is any other information that you think we would be able to benefit from, by all means impart that upon us.
No, nothing. She was headed south. We all saw her. Marched right into the lowland swamps. There was a small group of men that tried to find her, and they lost her in the swamps. Even that many animals' tracks were gone in the muck.
Well, we will do our best to bring back Mr. Princess Victoria Cupcake.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This isn't just John laughing. This is also Tallow laughing. I really respect the name. I think it's very, very charming.
Thank you. My daughter, Anna, made it up herself, obviously.
Of course. Now, these swamps, are they home to anything that might be adverse to living creatures that might want to devour flesh, perhaps?
No, they're, well, nothing quite so dramatic, I suppose. This isn't the northern swamps. There are razor leeches, but those are more of an annoyance rather than an actual threat. Unless you get an
You
infection.
say it, but then you say the name Razor Leech back to yourself. Like if you looked at yourself in a mirror and you said Razor Leech,
Yes.
I don't think that's exactly like a really becoming name.
It sounds worse than it is. They're only about an inch long. Their heads are razor sharp, and all they do is they cut a little slit in you and then drink your blood. If you
Right,
do
that's not
find
very
some,
thing.
you do need to get it removed because they will burrow deeper and deeper into you. That can cause problems.
Are there any local remedies for that? Like maybe something that can repel them? Lucy here doesn't do well. Like she really hates them.
Well, as long as you don't get into too deep of water and tuck your pants into your socks, you should be okay.
Armor. Like I have a lot. I'm wearing armor. I mean, they can get lodged in there.
Oh yeah, they can fit into pretty small places.
Really disconcerting on a level that I can't comprehend.
They prefer the inner thigh. It's the softest.
We gotta stop by somewhere, Drake. We gotta do something about it. I'm a little too small to be dealing with stuff. I mean, an inch sounds small for like a human-sized creature, but
that's a fair point.
That's a little bit bigger than something I own, if you know what I'm talking about.
Starts digging through his. Sorry, you just never mind.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure how that scale works, but I'm not going to get into it.
I'm pretty solid for my speed. I do good work, but
just kind of cocks an eyebrow and then keeps digging around in his pockets, pulls out like, I don't know, a big like wrap of gauze or something. Says, "What if we just like wrap up your legs or something extra?"
You know, you're genius. I know why they come around the Dawning Watch. You know, like you think up here. I like where you're at.
This is like, it was at one point sterile.
I don't like just connotation on that. However,
just goes about like wrapping it. I think he just like kind of bends down and starts like kind of roughly like winding it probably pretty tight around your inner thigh and like up and around to the other and stuff, trying to keep it so that it doesn't limit your mobility or whatever, but does cover. Just keeps at that until it's no, hang on.
That should help. Yes, you're miss a spot there. There you go. Yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right.
A little rough. A little ow. Okay. All right. I get it.
Well, I wish you both.
Whatever the fuck that's talking about.
I really wish you the best of luck. We're all pretty beside ourselves with the loss of these pets.
We should be back soon, hopefully. And he shrugs and then probably spins on his heel and starts heading out. We should make our way to the last, the end of the trail and see what we can pick up from there.
If you hear anything else, just let us know when we return.
Of course. Thank you again.
He'll bow really awkwardly, like we've seen a lot of people do, but he kind of like fumbles over himself, and he'll lead Lucy out the door.
So you guys head out of the city. The guards give you a nod as you leave, and you can see that there is a strange trail of many different kinds of animals leading off of the main path and down the hill into the lowlands of the south. It's maybe a quarter mile as you follow the path until it ends where the marsh begins. The wet, swampy land has basically swallowed up any of the footprints as you make them. Even taking a step in the mud, you pull it out and the water just washes it away immediately.
All right, prepare to be entirely amazed at my intellect.
And he's going to take out the collar and the blanket, and he's going to put them in front of Lucy's face.
All right, Lucy, can you kind of find their trail? Can you follow the scent?
She gets to the edge of the water and then does 2 turns and then looks at you and goes,
Nothing. 0%. Drake, this never happens. Come on, Lucy. I'm trying.
There's water here. I'm sure that makes the job more complicated.
Well,
He
I'm
shrugs.
kind of out of ideas. I think this is more your purview.
Oh. Sure. He kind of like scratches his chin, and I guess he'll just start looking around and try
Okay.
and see what he can see.
roll me.
You got a magnifying
Oh, fuck no. I don't have any, like...
Yeah, roll me
punch people in the
a
face.
nature check.
Um,
Nature or
What do you-
survival, I suppose. I think survival would be the most. Actually, that's the, yeah.
okay. No investigation.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you roll investigation. Yeah.
I'm way better at that. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I asked.
No, yep, I understand.
Get to throw an extra d4 on it, too. Okay.
That was a nat 20. He just rolled in his investigation roll, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, fuck yeah, and a 4 on the
Oh
extra
my
d4
god.
for the half
You rolled
health
a
thing. So that's a
28
28.
on
Yeah.
your
All the dogs.
investigation.
They're right in front of us. We just didn't even.
Yeah, they're all in front of you. No, as you're examining this area as closely as possible, you notice that there are very, very fine hairs that have been caught in some of the reed plants. They're pretty woody, and their leaves split along veins that catch little bits of fur or clothing or hair. And you see that there is almost like a fine trail of this hair caught in these weeds leading deep into the marshy lowlands.
I points it out and says, hopefully this will point us in the right direction and not towards some, murder of bears. And keeps walking.
Is there a trail of murder of bears here?
What? No, I think that's the plural
That's
group noun for bears.
Bears.
Carnage.
Bears.
or-
I don't like that. I also don't like that. That's not very. Never mind.
As you guys enter the swamp, 100 frogs jump out of the way. It's like, that where you walk forward and all of them jump and then jump and then jump. The swamp is covered in animals. And it's not a stinky swamp. It's more like a marshland, like we're kind of like a rice paddy field. Some of the grasses are 6-7 feet above the water line, and the water is 3 feet deep. There are places that are more solid, but they're hard to see and hard to tell which places are only a few feet and which places are 8-9 feet deep. There's a couple of times where following this trail, it seems like you've had to go around a little bit and refine the trail, which takes you a while. It is getting late by the time you find the cave set in a low hill. Lucy looks at you and goes, and then sits. You see that the cave is covered in moss, and there is a slight fire coming from inside, flickering. You're far enough away that you don't hear anything coming from the cave, but you can see it very clearly.
Do you smell it, Lucy? Are you getting it? There's Drake. I'm telling you, Lucy's somewhat of an investigator herself. Like you're very good, but Lucy's like getting close. Like with a few more years of experience. Like, actually, can you teach Lucy?
And just smokes and stares at you. Long drag off his cigarette silently.
We'll hold off on that question for later. But like multiple times in the brain, like if you taught Lucy how to investigate stuff like you do, like that'd be crazy.
I think she may have a better chance than some of the others I've had to work with. And he turns back toward it, toward the cave, and says, I think this definitely does appear to be our location or whatever. I would likely believe that that's where at least this piper has been held up. Most animals I know don't make their own campfires.
True. I've never seen Lucy do anything like that. Now, how do we go about this? Are we going in swords blazing, literally, or
Mostly I punch people in the face, and he kind of pulls a hand, or like his fist out with like a single thing of brass knuckles on his right hand. He says, but I tend to find that if you walk in openly, address the problem directly, and then punch it in the face, it goes pretty well.
well,
And he kind of grins at you.
very smart? You're like a what do they call them? Like a gentleman, right? You're like one of those. Very gentlemanly of you. I respect how you act.
That
Well,
yes, I've been called many things in my time. Never a gentleman.
coming from me, I think you're a gentleman. But please lead the way. I trust in
Nice.
your endeavors.
No, it's wait, are you like a sneaky sort? Do you think you could get a look at the place without? Because I'm a fairly trumpy individual. It is going to be a trundling into the cave rather than.
I don't know what half the words you just said mean. I can like sneak around and stuff. In a past life. So
Sure. Okay. Maybe like get a look in there. Make sure somebody is in there, and then I'll wait by the entrance to the cave, and you can come back out and report to us. If I hear anything terrible, I will run in and start punching.
all right, you're just like the old chief that I follow. Like same exact, except like he didn't really do the talk stuff. He did more like the punch stuff only. Like that was like his thing. All right. Lucy, you make sure Drake's doing all right out here. Like if he needs anything, get him some water or something.
And she has a giant barrel on her neck, by the way.
Okay,
And it is
yep.
in fact filled with water.
Cool. It still has XXX written on the front.
It still has XXX because I drained all the alcohol already.
Right, yep.
Classic.
And I couldn't find any more, and I couldn't pay for any more. So,
Water. Okay.
so he will crouch down a little lower, which is odd because he's very small already, and he will skulk in.
Okay, roll me a stealth check. Nice. That is a 19. It's pretty high. As you guys get closer to the cave, you hear a sing-song voice coming from inside. At first, you can't recognize the song, but as you get closer, you realize it's Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And it repeats over and over again.
He's kind of shaken by that. It's like creepy to him.
I think Drake will do his best to act as though that doesn't shake him, but that definitely is putting this into the eerie category.
So, Tallow, you creep into the cave, following the sound of the voice. It's not a very long entrance, but as you creep around a corner, you see that where the campfire is, you see that the cave expands into a large half amphitheater shape with a small pool of water at the very center. The druid, wearing simple breeches and leggings, is standing in the middle, singing, rocking back and forth. All across the amphitheater, sitting where the seats would be, which are just hewed stone, are all the pets from the city. There is maybe 50 animals in total, some 20 dogs, 15 cats, and a small collection of things like mice and hamsters. They are all sitting, rocking back and forth to the music.
Do I see Princess?
You see a big pink poodle near the front of the pack, also rocking back and forth. Yep.
All right, this is pretty fucking weird. Okay.
Do I see any weapons on the woman?
You see that she has a lute on her back.
She's not playing, she's just singing.
Yes.
He'll slowly start to creep his way back out of the cave.
Okay. You creep back out without alerting any of the animals, and come to the mouth, where Drake is standing there smoking his 5th cigarette.
Of the minute.
Of the yes, yep.
Like since you left, yeah.
Yeah, since you left, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, so there's good news and there's slightly creepy news. Which one do you want first?
The slightly creepy news.
She's singing, and all the animals are like really invested in it, and she's not doing anything else. Like, I don't know if it's like voodoo kind of bullshit, but she's got like a sway over them. Literally, they're swaying and she's swaying. Like, there's a lot of swaying going on.
Okay. How far from, like, I guess, how complicated would it be to get to her and then, punch her?
Well, you got like a small sort of cave mouth, and then it enters into a smaller tunnel, and then you round the corner, and there's like an amphitheater with a whole bunch of like kind of seats, and she's in the middle of that. So, can you fly?
No.
All right, you might have to make a good jump, but I think you could get like from start to fist. You could probably fist like pretty soon after start. Not super soon, but like pretty soon.
Just nods, like that makes all the sense in the world. Like, got it.
I feel a little nervous about bringing Lucy in there, but I also feel nervous about leaving out here.
I hope that her sort of divine origins might put her in a slightly different category than these natural beasts, but I suppose it is hard to say whether, this Piper's hold will, work on her as well. Should I just run in there and deck her, or should we actually try and engage in some sort of conversation with her?
In a past life, I would probably say that like decking her and taking all the shit would be like the way to go. Like, that seems like the safest, least scary sort of way, because she's singing like some sort of Humpty Dumpty thing. I don't, like it's not my mom used to sing to me, but like that was a weird sort of situation. I'd say maybe talk, and then like you said earlier, we'll do the talking plus the punching equals I don't know how math works. We'll punch her if she gets crazy.
Okay, I'm good on that. And I
You
think
punch her. I don't punch very good. Stature and all. Like you got like the this thing. I'm like down here. I could stab her, but I'd rather not stab her unless we need like stabbing to happen.
nods and says, all right. I suppose, he did just ask for the location, but I am concerned that our egg adjacent mayor is not maybe telling us everything we're supposed to know about this situation.
Yeah, he was really upfront about saying bitch in front of a female dog. That was like kind of uncalled for. Like, I don't like him. So I think that there might be two sides to the same coin, which is weird because normally like a coin is two sides anyway, but like they're different. I don't know.
He nods like that makes sense, and walks in. I think just flick cigarette, light a new one, and head into the cave pretty casually.
As they're walking, he's like holding up a coin, like showing him how two sides of the coin.
Right, there's like two.
So you guys walk in to the room. She immediately stops singing, and all the animals turn and look at you. There is a moment of silence. And we are going to go take a break. So we'll be back in 15 minutes with what happens after that. So be sure not to move or leave, because you'll miss out if there's punching happening.
If you move, we
even
might not punch this woman.
blink. Don't even breathe. So this has been
definitely breathe.
Please breathe.
Yeah, we want the views.
Also, don't abuse your pets. I guess like that's like a
right,
big one.
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't pass
That's kinda
draconian
shitty.
pet laws.
Yeah,
thank you.
that's fucked up.
All right, so we are going to run our break video. There is a special new skit that I did that is very
Enjoy.
good. It's
Please
very
enjoy.
special. So, all right, guys. Again, thanks for Adramino. Was that how it's-
Amadrino.
Amadrino. I get close.
He's gonna get it one day.
To tape it, helping with the after. No, wait. Not after hours, right? It's short order. Short order videos.
Yeah,
the
after
short
hours
order
we were
videos.
gonna use that.
Right, and yep.
Something different.
So, all right, guys, we'll be back in about 15 minutes, so stay tuned.
I guess just to start, like, what are some of the big distinctions? I guess there. What are some of those big different types of ways to play, things to look for people who wouldn't necessarily know to ask, or what questions and stuff along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. That's not exactly something that a lot of people actually put a lot of thought into before you decide to join a game, is certain aspects of the gameplay. Some of these things are rarely thought of beforehand until you get into the game. You realize, hey, I wish we could do, X, and some of those things that don't come up a whole lot are things like tactical style combat versus, a more simplified version, or even large scale combat where it's not, your party versus another group or another party, but instead it may be a battlefield with hundreds of players, not necessarily players, but hundreds of actual NPCs along with the players performing whatever it is that you have to accomplish. Large scale combat is something that is fun when done properly. You have to think about things like espionage, covert operations,
Right.
sort of spy type stuff, which is also I feel like that's a little bit trickier to do, but it's also fun if it can be pulled off properly. Puzzles, some people are really into puzzles. Some people really hate puzzles.
Yeah. Tons of people puzzles are a huge part of the game, but I think there are certain types of puzzles that don't maybe translate as well to certain D&D groups. If you've got some substitution cipher you're expecting them to write down and crack, there are parties that are going to be all about that, and there are parties that are going to look at you like, why can't I just roll a skill check or something to get out of this? Come on.
A couple of the other things that I like to include: exploration.
Yeah.
Now, exploration is not something that I've personally done a lot of. I know some people that have a lot of fun with it, but as a DM, it's not something that I've delved too deeply into. But that's one of those things that you want to ask. If that's something that you really like doing, then think about it.
When you say exploration, I guess, do you mean sort of like the players are looking at a world map that's kind of fogged over and they're slowly revealing chunks of it? Are you talking about regular pathfinding stuff with your ranger, or I guess, because I hear that talked about, but like you're saying, I don't feel that I've necessarily really ever gotten into that, because I usually have my campaigns in a pretty developed part of the setting that I'm in, or as much as anything is in the high fantasy setting anyway.
So I suppose what I mean by exploration is generally if your party's going somewhere perhaps that's not exactly fully mapped. My campaign, my players are currently, everything's mapped out. You know where all the towns are, you know where the roads are, you know where everything's at. There are places you can go, however, that are uninhabited. And that's where the exploration would come in, because nobody has mapped any of this stuff out. So you're basically, your players want to go delve off into this jungle or this area, and they don't know, you don't know what's there. So that's where the whole grid by grid exploration comes into play. The survival checks, the navigation checks, what have you.
Some overmap kind of, Final Fantasy VII situation or something.
Exactly. When it comes to the specific gameplay styles like we're talking about, obviously you need to know what it is you want to get into. And a lot of these things 5e is very generic feeling, I guess, not in a bad way, but where it sort of hands the reins over to the DM. You can do a lot of this stuff. You need to know what it is you want to do, because a lot of it's not actually in the books, you know.
Right. It's like those
crafting
derby card kits, you know.
Oh yeah,
They
exactly.
give you all the parts. You can make a really cool car, or you can send a block of wood down the track.
Well, after that really hard encounter with that terrible beast, I need some new equipment. This looks like a good place to get something. Hello. Can I get...
My name is Cornwall, Snot Gobbler the Fifth. State your business, ruffian.
I was looking for some dungeon equipment?
I will be the judge of that. Kneel, knave.
Neil? But I thought this was a general store.
Of course it is. All customers must kneel before the great Cornwallis Snot Gobbler the Fifth. It is local custom.
Local custom is to kneel before shopkeepers? The last shop I went to didn't force me to kneel.
I am a special shopkeeper. I am Cornwallis Snot Gobbler the Fifth. Now kneel, or you will not peruse my wares.
Are there any other general stores in town?
No.
Of course not. Alright, I'll kneel.
And kiss my feet. And call me Freddy.
No. Nope. 100 feet of rope is not worth this. Nope. Well, at least I can get something to eat.
Hello, I am Gregory Smith Bumtackle the
Fuck.
So you did mention theater of the mind versus always having maps out, and
Yeah.
that's another thing. Not every DM is either willing or able to do a full theater of the mind combat system, and not every player is going to be okay with that. Some people want to see the actual layout. They want to see the images. They want to see the map. They want to see the distance. They want it all, particularly plotted, which is not a bad thing. You do need to know beforehand whether your DM is going to be doing that or not.
As a DM, I rarely map unless it's combat, but frequently combat's just a grid so that everybody knows how far away they are from everything. Though for me, because it's just easier to keep everything straight, I think. As a player, I find it very difficult to, especially with the way combat and most of the abilities are structured in D&D, it's pretty hard to feel like I'm keeping track of exactly what all's happening and going on, and how close am I to this person in relation to this person, and stuff like that can matter pretty quickly sometimes, in some, depending on your campaign. But there are ways to run combat that totally don't rely on those kind of specific distinctions. You can kind of just do the bands, range bands of combat or something that they've introduced into these other systems that take away the specific what square am I questions. And yeah, that's a big difference in play, and how the spells and abilities your characters have translate into what you can kind of do during the combat or during, outside of combat, stuff like that.
Buy some dice. 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 Buy some dice.
My name is Dagger Dan, and I got swords. I got knives. I got pole arms aplenty. If you need a melee weapon with a sharp end, come on down to Dagger Dan's. My blades are so sharp, I'm wanted in 6 kingdoms for accessory to manslaughter. Never have the deals been this good. Half price off katanas. Half price off axes. Buy one dagger, get one free. So get yourself and your gold over to Dagger Dan's, home of the largest dagger in the kingdom. Tell him Dan sent you.
And I think that railroad's tossed around, almost like a curse word as, in the
Yeah.
DMing world. And I think that if you're taking away your player's agency, that's bad. But if you're just all moving toward the same plot line, then there's nothing wrong with that. If everyone's agreeing that they're all interested in saving the world, they don't want to deal with the piddly little nonsense here in town. They want to go straight to the cataclysmic world-altering event stuff, and that's the storyline everyone wants to play. Then that's not like a failed DM thing or something like that. I guess it's not my leaning as a DM, but I definitely am more of the whatever, run around, start a business. I've got a game that they own about 6, and they've had to license them all, and they run an orphanage, and they've got all there's like 100 different little business interests that they're sticking fingers in, and to me that's a lot of fun. But I understand that there are players that are going to be like, oh my god, nothing's happening, like we don't do anything, we haven't left this city in like 2 years, like
Railroad is tossed around as like a bad word. But I think that the main reason that is because I think a majority of people that play, a majority of players end up falling into a certain category of where, they want to play the game because they want their characters to be able to do what they want. And so when you have these players joining into games with DMs that want to run, say, a strict module or a straightforward, save the world campaign where it is a little more railroady, you have players that are joining games that they're not a fit for. Right. So then you end up with the railroad being a bad term. Now, if you have players that's what they want, that's your type of game, you're joining a DM because you know he's running a game that is story driven, that is pretty much railroad centric, a module, what have you, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with railroad, but it gets a bad rap because just like any term in D&D, and where you're talking about any type of player or any type of DM, the only reason they get a bad rap is because the players and the DMs are not a good fit for each other. And that's what we're trying to talk about, is to get your fit as a player, as a DM. If you find your fit, there is no bad word.
Right. If you are doing some sort of like greater plot arc development stuff, and even if it's individual running around nonsense, eventually the stakes have to get raised, the pressure has to be increased in some way, and that there are people who are going to call that railroad. I think that it is part of pushing the plot forward at some point. I think that's it's much more important that everyone's looking for the same kind of game, because what one DM does and gets called railroading by one player another DM could do with another player and never hear the same word because they were both looking for that kind of game at the time.
And we're back! Hello, everybody. I hope you liked that break video. I sure had fun making it. No player characters were hurt in the making of that video.
But seriously, come on down to Dagger Dance.
Yeah, please come on down. You get 1 dagger for the price of 2. No, wait, 2 daggers for the price of 1. It's a good deal. It's a better deal than the
checks out.
The 2 for 1. All right, so we're joining these guys on a Darning Watch mission. They are walking into a cave that right now contains a singing druid lady in a shallow pool of water and something like 50 household pets rocking back and forth in slow unison to the song Humpty Dumpty Sat on a Wall. We just had our good friend Drake Sovereign walk into the cave, and all the animals face him, their eyes glinting in the firelight as the song ends. There is a heavy moment of silence, and the druid says, What are you doing here? The animals, it seems like the spell is broken. They begin to do animal things, like normal animal things again.
They all smell each other's butts.
All the dogs come up to you
in a conga line.
Yes, in a big circular no, they all come up to you, Drake, and begin sniffing you guys. Drake and Tallow begin sniffing you guys. Begin sniffing Lucy. The cats all disappear into several corners and stare at you from dark crevices. The rats and hamsters also climb to high places and peek over ledges at you. The druid puts her hands on her hips and says, yes, they're all people. Now, what do you want?
The mayor has sent us here to deal with any kind of gestures toward the crowd of animals that are kind of accosting them at the moment. He says, all of this, there are some folks who would like their pets back.
Yes, I'm sure they would, but the pets aren't happy there. The laws and regulations have turned their existence into some kind of hell. I've been talking to them at length, and none of them are very happy.
Can I insight check?
Sure,
one
yeah,
of the
actually,
animals?
that's a good
Both
call.
of you. Yep.
Can I insight check her rather than the animal?
I'm
Yes.
insight checking at least Princess.
Princess, are you hurt?
Are you Tell me.
We're both amazing.
Yeah, with your 9 and 11 insight checks.
Oh, I do get an extra D4 on that.
Oh,
as
yep,
well.
go for it.
But it's not going to help a ton, probably.
I mean, a 4 is pretty good. A 1
10.
is not great. So you go from an 11 to, a 9 to a 10. Sorry, yes. So with your a 10 and 11, you are not sure. You're not getting enough information to get a read one way or another about this woman. She does seem definitely cross at you for just walking into her cave and going, hi, and is ready to defend herself, but she does not look like she is absolutely cackling evil either. So you're not sure.
Tallow's going to whistle as loud as he can for Lucy.
Lucy comes up to you and sits down and laps your face.
Thank you, Lucy, but now's not the time. Can you explain to her that we're good people, please?
Roof. Uh-huh. All right, well, Tallow, Drake, it's nice to meet you.
Just nods.
He waves.
Lucy goes, and then lays down and kind of puts her paw over her head, and the druid goes, yes, he does look a lot like an egg.
I thought jelly bean.
Yeah, I think
Smoke
too. That was like the consensus. It was like egg X jelly bean sort of situation.
Right. So about these animals,
Yes.
It seems that perhaps the mayor is the issue, not the animals. Then
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I'm glad they sent the Darning Watch. She kind of looks around. Meet me
Lucy,
out.
you're really talkative with other people.
Meet me outside the cave.
eloquent.
I have something I wish to discuss with you, but I can't do it in the presence of these animals.
If Lucy, keep your eye on them. Like, make sure they don't do any crazy shit. All right, that's a good girl.
Turn around and head out
Yeah.
of the cave. Yeah, I think Drake will like smoke. Like that's not a ridiculous suggestion that we need to protect the animals from this conversation.
Smokes in Drake.
She sits down at the cave and she looks down and she looks back and goes, "Okay, all right. Well, not all of those animals in there are as they seem, unfortunately.
What does that mean? I guess.
They're not all males with female names, are they?
No. Well, you hear,
Meow.
and you turn, and the druid goes, and there is a white fluffy cat, sitting at the entrance to the cave, wagging its tail back and forth. The druid goes, meow 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 meow, and the cat goes,
Meow. Meow.
kind of flattens her ears at you guys, and then turns around and saunters back into the cave. The druid relaxes visibly, like,
All right, and I've been told in my time, even by Drake here when we first met, that like my talking to Lucy was a little weird, but that's like really weird. What you doing with
You see,
the?
that's what I'm talking about. Now
I'm
sorta
now getting
observe this
perspective
from my
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I learned from the rats that they were called into the city.
Oh, that was not you. I
No.
honestly suspected that was something, you ran some sort of like extortion racket or something.
Yeah, I was gonna like congratulate you. Like back in my
It's-
day, I would have been really proud if that was like the thing I could do.
She raises an eyebrow and goes, "Interesting. Aren't you supposed to be upholders of the law?" And
Yes, I was planning to come here and punch you in the mouth.
You did say
But
that.
that is maybe not a solution that is required.
no,
He, like at length, he talked about how like
Just,
punchable you
No
would
nods.
be
Yeah.
when he came across you. But the fact that you talked was kind of like a thing.
well, there may be punching.
Oh, he sighs and
she
kind of
gets
drops
really
a hand
close
into
to
his
you.
pocket.
She gets really close to you and says, "That cat, is the one that called the rats.
That's not.
The cat.
The white fluffy one that was just here. I had to explain to him that you guys were just leaving and that I was giving you directions back to town."
Wait, so the cat called the rats.
Yes, to attack the city in anger and revenge over the mayor's draconian pet policies. Snowball is not used to not getting his way.
So it is a thing about like guys being named like girl names. Like that's a thing.
Snowball is like a unisex name.
It's that
I
unisex.
think.
I guess
I feel like
yeah.
that's just like a white fluffy animal.
Right.
in my
Anything
head.
can be a snowball if you try hard
Sure.
enough. Like one of
He
those.
nods.
All right.
Anyway, no, this
yes.
so this snowball is just a cat, but that
No.
can No, okay.
He is not. He is actually an ancient druid that had gone insane and declared war against the humans some 1,500 years ago. He was imprisoned in that body by another circle of druids in order to keep him from wreaking havoc on the human lands. But it seems that he has been able to gain back a measure of his power, enough so that he is, in fact, planning his triumphant return in Snowball's body.
Do you have a cat carrier?
Unfortunately, no. And he has the
Like
ability...
sizes out one of those.
He still has the ability to transform animals from one shape to another. I'm not sure how many times that he can do it, but I've at least seen him done it once.
Huh.
So you
So-
telling me that not all those animals are like people, or not all the animals are animals? Like some of them are people.
Yes, his owner was turned into a rat. She is in that cave as well.
So Drake, you might have to punch the cat. I don't want to have
I
to
was
tell you.
gonna ask, is this so I need to punch the cat then?
As long
That's
as you
not
can
usually in my purview,
add.
if
I
you
get
will.
it. It's like purr, like a cat.
Not
yeah.
like a
There's something here. It's like
I have to get back. He will be wondering where I am. I
Are
don't.
you being held
um,
hostage here by the fucking cat?
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Does
He
your,
won't let me
control
release
not-
the animals.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
we need to at least return Princess to her owner. That little girl was really upset, and if I lost Lucy, I would, I'd probably be in a ball of tears, screaming at the closest man on a mastiff.
I don't think I'll be able to convince him to release just even one of the animals. He's convinced that he is going to create an army out of these animals and march to town and take it over himself.
He just pulls his sword out. All right, we gotta
Snowball.
fucking kill a cat, I guess. I don't want to do that, but I think Lucy would probably appreciate the gesture.
I assume your, control or whatever sway you hold over the rest of the animals does not extend to Snowball.
No, it does not.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
Could you convince the cat to come out here so that we can punch/stab the cat? As I assume that is the solution that we are faced with at this point.
Again.
You're a really good investigator. I like that.
Not.
He can turn people into animals. I would hate
Sure.
to see you turned into something ungainly.
I mean, I guess other than that, I am short on solutions. I am a punch-heavy problem solver.
I can try to get him out of here if you think that's the best option.
I have an
what
idea.
I've gathered, his body is that of a cat, and if you are able to
Punch it.
punch it will die. He is immortal, but still, he is able to be wounded. He will never die of old age, but I do have to get back. So what should I do? Should I convince him to come out here, or are you going to come up with another plan?
Drake, I feel like I have an idea, but we saw how the last one went, so I'm gonna have you check over my idea first.
Okay, what do you got?
All right, so what if we? You can go inside. It's all right.
Okay,
Send him
thank
out
you.
here in 10 minutes.
All right. She walks back into the cave.
All right, so what if we set a trap out here, right? So we I get Lucy out here. She digs a hole in the front, and I put what do I got in my rations? I don't got any dried fish. I got
Cats are sort of agile. A pit may not quite do
thinking
it.
what if we put bait in the pit and we trap him in there, and then you punch him when he's in the pit. The classic punch pit situation. I did this all the time with travelers
The
on
bait
the road.
and punch, yes. No,
The-
it's
the-
a
the
tried
bait
and
punch.
true maneuver.
Yeah, it used to work a lot. Surprisingly, it was normally they weren't exactly the brightest. They weren't smart, is what I'm saying. But it worked. It sounded like this guy's kind of smart, or this cat, whatever the fuck this thing is. He's kind of smart, if anything.
Can you do the any kind of does a circle with his hands and the snare trap thingies? Are you at all familiar with that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah, I've done them before. I have a rope that we can do.
Are there any small springy saplings around or something that we can try and
Yes.
do one of those classic catch them and them upside down
Yep.
by their ankles
This
sort
this
of
part
traps?
of the swamp is pretty dry, and so there are some small springy saplings growing up around the cave entrance.
Okay. Yeah, I guess try and set up one of these, kind of snare type trap here real quick
Okay.
around the entrance, I suppose.
Do you have any fish on you?
He digs through his pockets. Does he have any fish?
Roll a
on him?
d20.
Probably not. Okay.
If you get over a 15, you have fish.
That's
Can I also roll this d20?
No, you don't have a trench coat of many things.
True. True.
So no, you do not find any fish. I feel
Sorry.
like I also should make you roll something for this trap to see how well
Yeah,
you
sure.
construct it.
Survival
That's-
or
I think
something?
survival, unless you
If you
have
got a-
carpentry tools.
Thieves' tools, maybe?
I will accept thieves' tools. Sure.
This,
I'll
this
accept
was
thieves' tools.
like setting traps as a brigadier.
Right.
Sure, yeah,
I'll
okay.
accept thieves' tools. Yeah, if you roll me a proficiency roll for that,
Okay. Is that
or yeah,
that
tool
the
check.
dex?
If you just click the tool in your
It needs an
inventory-
attribute assigned to it, though.
Oh, right. Yeah, Dex will be fine. Yeah.
I added it because it didn't add as my class. So I'm
Nice.
going to Rolodex.
Okay.
Rolodex.
Rolodex, right.
Keep your information before all of
That's
our
not
phones
great.
had phone
And
books
8.
built in.
All right. So that is going to set the DC of the trap.
Is that without a bonus or anything, though?
Yeah, that's without a bonus. That's a
That'd be-
d20 plus
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's your plus?
plus 4.
6.
Plus 4. Okay. So that's 12. That's better.
And then whatever the thieves' tools would add.
3 would be your proficiency bonus at 5,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So 15. That's even better. All right. So a DC 15. It's going to be a dexterity saving throw to defeat your trap. When
Shit,
it
it's
gets
a
triggered.
cat. They're really dexterous.
I believe that Drake had brought that up.
Yes, he did mention that.
Yeah, but at the same time, Talow's not really an outside of the box thinker.
Right.
It's better than a
Right.
pit trap, I think, or more likely to
Yes.
work
Right.
than like a pit that
He's
don't know,
gonna
cats
cover
can
it with
climb stuff.
with like lichen and stuff he can find
Sure.
around.
think the
And
big
he's
plan-
going to be hiding next to it, like near.
Yeah, I think that's Drake
Sure.
is gonna do the same, try and get on the other side and get within like a step and punch range.
Yeah,
if
the pit
possible.
punch is nothing without the punch.
Exactly.
So you guys wait in hiding. I think you should roll me stealth checks too to hunker down.
Sure.
21.
Nice.
I'm not good at this.
Can I help him by covering him in lichen as well?
No.
Solid
All right.
6.
So you hear the druid softly meowing.
Drake's smoking heavily. Cloud of smoke
coming
pouring out from around the corner.
Tree with just smoke dangling out of it.
Yeah, you hear the druid meowing softly to Snowball as they both come out.
Meow meow. 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 Meow meow. Meow 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 meow.
They walk out and Snowball is going to roll perception perception. Which I'm gonna have to type it in. Rolled a 4 on its
Natural
perception. Natural 1. So Snowball doesn't notice the giant cloud of smoke. Snowball is so wrapped up in this meow conversation that he doesn't notice the trap either.
What are they talking about?
You don't know. It's meows.
Oh,
It's all,
right, my bad.
all just meowing. And steps right into the trap. The trap is sprung. I am going to roll a dexterity saving throw now.
Awesome.
A 9. The does not defeat your 15 snare trap, and there is a great yowl as a loop wraps around his back leg and launches him into the air. He is dangling upside down, growling. He looks at the druid and his eyes flash. She's going to make a saving throw. I need to look at the spell too.
Oh man. I only have one like this. The plan was established and now I feel terrible about it. But
It is a wisdom saving throw.
Oh God, it's not on me. I'd be fucked.
Oh my god.
She fails it. There is a shimmer as green light envelops her, and she shrinks down into a gerbil. And goes. You guys are still hidden, but the cat is thrashing angrily.
I want to.
I think yeah, it's he's probably stepping into fucking Deck the cat.
Okay.
That was the
And I want
plan.
to step up on the opposite side, and if the
Play
deck
tetherball.
doesn't work, I want to grab it by its scruff like a mother cat would,
Okay.
and hold my scimitar up to its.
I will both let you make an action. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay.
Hold
The cat
the cat
is
by the scruff. and you
grappled in the trap right now.
So like
You just it's
what,
just
restrained or
no, just grappled. Its speed is 0, but it's like swaying,
Gotcha.
and it's at least wriggling around at a small enough target that it's got its regular armor class.
gotcha.
Its
I'm
speed
gonna-
is 0.
While I see him moving toward the punch, I want to grab it by the scruff and hold it still.
Okay.
If it's not, oh god, man. Yeah, I don't have like another way to
As a
solve this
cat
problem.
owner, how hard is this, Eric?
Oh, it sucks real bad. I'm sorry, Ink. I would never do this.
Malone's the other one. I wouldn't want to.
Don't,
makes you feel better, it's-
cause a problem with a bunch of, take over a town
Right.
with everybody's
Yeah,
house
evil
pets.
cat, like
Evil cat.
evil cat.
Not even a cat. It's a
Not a
person
cat.
in a cat shape.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna
Yep.
run up and spike the cat.
All
like he's
right, yeah.
playing tetherball.
Roll
That's
roll me to hit.
God in heaven. Forgive me.
Oh my god. Great. Yes, a 25 hits.
K.
A 25 hits.
25 hits. That is a 19 natural roll.
All right. So roll me damage, please.
He's got to put a smite in on it too, cause
Yep.
that's how he do. Oh jeez, this
my
poor
roll to
kitty.
fight the cat. Hey,
Oh,
There's no damage there. That didn't
Yep.
roll.
It's something in the command is broken.
There we go.
Oh my god. All right. So you do 19 damage to the cat.
He just
Um,
walks up and lights up his brass knuckles and punches through. Oh god.
There is a flash and then the roll of thunder as the hit connects. The tree that the cat is roped to snaps under the weight of the blow as you spike the small furry body into the ground with such force that there is a dent. There is a crunching, yowling noise as, the cat dies, but then there is a shimmer as he turns back into a wood elf. He is you've broken this guy's back. He is like twitching on the ground. His eyes flash once more and then go dark. The hamster or gerbil that was the druid comes up to you and then runs in furious little circles.
I was hoping that would just sort of end when the caster died.
Fuck,
Kinda
man,
just
that
looks
was
down at the tree.
crazy. You broke the tree and this fucking guy's back. That's crazy.
I'm not super happy about punching a
license for
cat.
those things? Good God. He does like an inverse cross, like an odd cross shape over over his chest and head. Oh Lord! All right,
That was traumatic.
yeah.
Kind of just like shakily lights a cigarette.
There's a lot of blood on one fist.
Lucy watching.
No, Lucy.
I mean,
Lucy's still in
problem
the cave.
solved, though, right?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, that no didn't change back though. That's the
You
problem.
hear
Sure.
Lucy,
hamsters. Yeah, the Lucy's
Yeah.
sniffing the gerbil right now.
Can you tell us what she's saying? Do you got anything?
Woof, woof.
I don't understand what you said, Lucy. Like you're speaking in a really strong dialect right now. I don't understand the accent. Shit. All right. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. She's saying, not gonna lie to you, I know what she just said.
I'm going to grab the wood elf by his hair,
Okay.
and I want to slap him a few times.
All
and
right.
turn him away from us, since we saw that his eyes were on her,
Right.
or he's not staring at us.
No, he's quite dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a dead body you're slapping around.
Wait up.
He kind of just points.
Right? That's what she said. Wake up.
No, but just flopping back and forth like a big sack of beans.
He's gonna try to cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
No, that's like a dead body. He just like kind of lifts an arm and lets it drop.
Your hand lights up and it goes onto the chest of this elf and nothing happens.
Well,
Look,
shit.
I mean, we have essentially solved the problem, right? You know, there is no more sort of, we can return the pets to the people who own them now.
Yeah, but I think there's more problems than like a pet napper. The druid here might have a problem. She was kind of nice.
Does furious little circles in the ground.
I know. Stop running in circles. It's not helping anyone. You're just like disorienting me. My head's a little spinny right now. I need to think.
I do not speak gerbil. He
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
don't-
looks down and smokes at the small whale.
He's going to close his eyes and telepathically communicate with Lucy.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what she's saying?
She's really pissed.
Yeah, I know that. Like, what? Is there anything she's saying? Like, how do we fix this? Like, we kind of solved the problem, but we kind of didn't.
She says we got you guys an hour to turn her back, or she's gonna be stuck like that forever.
That's really not helpful, Lucy. I thought you'd be more intuitive than this. Oh, bitch. All right. Drake, apparently this could be a longer issue if we do not turn these people back within an hour. Lucy's saying that the druid's kind of pissed about it, which is understandable. Yeah.
Look, I think I said we were going to punch it. So
Yeah,
that was not.
I didn't think you had the power of a fucking like bear.
Well, now you do.
I do know now, and now I'm less inclined to take things from your pockets.
Kind of just nods like, yeah.
I think we have to find a druid.
Lucy nudges your arm and says, "In the city."
You mean in the city? What does that mean?
Earth. In the
Maybe
city.
there's someone there who can help us.
Yeah.
Licks your hands.
All right, Lucy, can you go grab the animals for me, please? Can you tell them that we're here to help and we're gonna return them to the city and we're gonna set everything right?
Aroof. And she turns around and goes into the cave, and you hear ruff, ruff, aroof. And then all the animals start running out and then circle around you guys. Lucy comes out really proud, and next to her is a big pink poodle who runs up and jumps on you guys and licks your face.
Thank you. All right. Enough. Can you tell Princess that, like, even though he has an emasculine name, I think he's still very strong and proud.
Aroof. Princess does a couple happy dog circles and then barks.
Drake, you found our way here. Do you think you can get us out?
I should be able to. Yeah. We'll kind of head us back toward town.
All right. As you guys head back towards town and you start heading up the hill with a big army of animals behind you, the guards at the gate just their mouths are agape as you walk up. Well, shit. Where'd you find him?
We don't have time. Fucking get out of the way. We gotta get in there.
Oh, okay.
We are on the clock here. Is there anyone in town who is well versed in the ways of magic, or specifically those of a natural inclination?
Yeah, Scott Silver. He's the bartender at the Pussy Pig.
That is a terrible bar name.
It's a
Horrible
terrible
bar.
bar. It's actually not even in town. It's around the back.
Okay.
You let it in
Against the
town
wall.
because the
What was that?
name is too much. Like it's like iffy. You don't want anyone like associating it. Never. I'm sorry. I shouldn't bring up. This is a time-based thing.
Yeah,
You,
like, starts heading.
Druid from his pocket and he'll put
You guys head around and you see the Pussy Pig. It is almost a lean-to that has been built against the city walls with a collection of very dirty tents scattered around it. You open the door and there is a crunching sound as the glass from several broken bottles slide against the door jamb. The floor is caked in what looks like blood, spit, vomit, and spilled beverage. At the back end, there is a crooked bar with a old man behind it with wispy hair sticking out in a bunch of directions, rubbing a mug with the dirtiest washcloth you've ever seen.
I would never drink here on any given day. No day that ended well, I would be in here.
Are you Scott Silver?
What? He does this.
Are you Scott Silver? Or whatever it was. I think that's the
Yeah,
name
it's Scott
we'll give
Silver. Yep. No, I haven't lost any.
it. Oh, good. This will be plenty of fun. He raises his voice. Are you Scott Silver?
Oh, yeah, Scott Silver. That's me. Do you want a drink?
Okay. No. We need to deal with... we were told that you are like a person with magic of a natural sort that may be well versed in things that might turn people into animals.
Hang on. He picks his ear out a little bit. He says, all right, well,
He writes it down. He's already pulling a piece of paper out of his pocket and just writing down what he needs to say. And then slides it across the table to him with a huff. Like,
He looks at it, kind of goes, looks at you. Your handwriting's pretty bad.
your hearing is worse.
What?
Just smiles sweetly.
He nods and says, polymorph. That's what you got here.
Sure. That's like the final evolution of Polywag, right?
I don't know.
Sorry.
You should probably punch yourself for that one. I don't know.
No, he's okay. Is that something that you can deal? And he stops and then scribbles down on the paper. He says, "Is that something you can deal with?"
Yeah. I've got the stuff in the back still, from a last couple of crazy ragers I did.
What kind of ranger requires like that?
A rescue ranger. All right.
God damn it!
Get off the stream. You're done.
Took a second, but I got there.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Ooh, that fits with layers. That's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It does.
The druid pops her head out of your pocket and goes, eep, eep. And
Yeah, we are on a bit of a schedule here, and he's scribbling it down. Hurry, time is short, or something to that effect.
All right. He goes in the back and comes out with two very large black candles, a small bit of what looks like silver dust, and a small pint of dark liquid. He puts the two candles on either side, sprinkles the silver in a circle, and says, "All right, put the thing there."
and he'll gently put the gerbil down.
The man lights the two candles, and then takes probably like half a cup of the liquid out of the jar, mumbles a few words with his eyes rolled back in his head. The flames on the candles grow to about a foot high with purple flame. The metal on the counter shimmers and then melts into a silvery liquid as he pours the black stuff over top of the gerbil, who's going. He finishes the spell, and the candles flare up and then go out, and there is a glow from the center of the circle of metal as the gerbil slowly grows back into the druid. She opens her eyes and goes, "Oh, that was awful. That was really bad."
Yeah, kind of on you. That wasn't our fault. Like, we didn't do that. That was you were kind of in the way. Like, you should have known we were kind of scheming.
He was not going to let me out of, he was not going to leave the cave without me.
It did help that you were distracting Snowball while he made his egress from the cave. So I do appreciate that. I am sorry that you found yourself in the form of a small rodent for an extended period of time. Were there any others that we needed to return to their original shape?
Unfortunately, none that can be returned. Lady Maxwell was a rat for a day before I even came here to this city. She is stuck in that form forever.
Well, that's a bit of an issue, but not one that I think we can really do anything about.
The door
You think
opens.
we could bring her back with us, like to the headquarters? Maybe someone there could look at her.
Sure. No, that's probably a good idea. We should collect all of the animals that were once people, and we may be able to return them, or at least there may be experts who work with the Watch who can return them to their original form.
The door opens behind you guys, and Mayor Fiddlestomper comes in flanked by 2 guards.
All right, I need an explanation for this right now. I told you to only locate the druid and that we were to take care of the rest. I have people being happily reunited with all their animals right now.
To call Lucy
Woof.
and have her pick the mayor up by his lapels.
Oh my goodness!
The 2 guards get down, unsure of what you're doing.
Either you attack my dog, I'm killing your families.
What is the meaning of this?
I think Drake could explain it in a more in a better way.
Under my umbrella.
But the shit you're doing with people's animals here ain't right.
Exactly. We were specifically asked by a family to return their animals specifically, and upon our investigation, we found that it was perhaps not your intention to return these animals to their owners. That was not something we were willing to abide.
Well, fuck.
Your crisis has been averted, and we recommend that you adjust some of these unfair pet laws, as you will likely have some sort of animal insurrection.
I am still going to arrest her. She brought the rats to this city.
It seems that is not the case, actually. There was a cat by the name of Snowball, who was actually an ancient druid of some renown, trapped in the form of a house cat.
Destroyed him. Like that dude's family would never recognize him.
What the fuck? So
yes.
it wasn't the druid?
Well, I mean, it was a different druid. It was not this one. And he kind of just gestures toward the lady here.
So you're telling me that a pet summoned the rats that nearly destroyed my city?
I believe turned some of your citizens into the rats as well.
My God.
Yeah, like Lady whatever, the rat lady. You remember her name?
Lady Maxwell.
Lady Maxwell.
Lady Maxwell. That's what I heard as well, Drake.
I think this leaves me no choice but to ban pets in the city forever.
I don't think that is the solution, sir.
Lucy, give him the underbridge shakedown.
The druid comes up and says, "Maybe I have a better solution. Mayor, I have been looking for some place to settle down for a while, and the conversations I've had with the animals of this town have opened my eyes to not only your draconian laws, but also the story of what happened. I would be happy to live outside the city and vouch for any animal that comes in. I can talk to animals, and I can make sure that none of them are ancient druidic nightmare gods.
That seems like a reasonable compromise.
Well.
You gotta let the thing go with your son. You know, I'm sorry to hear that something like that happened, and it's pretty traumatic. But there's a lot of good animals out there, like there are a lot of good people out there. You can't let that just own your life. You know, Lucy's been with me for years, and she's one of the only people on this planet I can talk to, other than Drake. Drake's pretty good now. Like I like Drake a lot.
What? Oh, yeah. And he nods like he's like
Like,
watching
I
fucking
was right on
whatever.
his back, but I would let him cook for me. But you know, like Drake's pretty good. He's good people.
I do all right. But I believe that it is important that you recognize that the people in this town are not necessarily happy with the way you've treated the animals here.
Yes.
You will lose
Well,
their support eventually if you continue down this insane path.
He sighs heavily.
Will you put me down?
Lucy,
Blah.
put him down.
He dusts himself off.
Very well. As long as you promise to stay outside of the city, Druid, then you may stay. And if I have concerns about animals, I will bring them to you.
That is all I ask. She turns to you guys and says, "Thank you. I'm not sure what I would have done if you hadn't come around. I'm not quite as good as punching as you."
Not many are.
That's fair to say. He's crazy. He's kind of a loose cannon. You're happy I'm here, you know. Like I kept him down a little bit.
Yes, well,
Lucy.
thank you.
Oh, and what's your name, by the way? We never really talked
Oh.
about that also.
That seems like unnecessary information. Sorry. No.
Well, at the time it wasn't, but you know, after we saved your lives and are kind of your heroes, like we should at least know your name to see where the thanks comes from.
My name is Sarah of the Forking Branch. Nice to meet you.
Thanks,
I-
Lucy.
Roof, roof. The mayor hesitantly reaches out and gives Lucy a pat.
All right. Well, I suppose I can turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, but if we hear anything else about you doing like horrible shit to animals and making sure they're not fed right, I'm gonna come find you, and I'm not gonna stop Drake from breaking your back in a hit. You know, that's not a threat. That's a promise.
I will report to your superiors that you have solved my problem. Now, please leave my city.
Very well. Have a nice day. And he just kind of smiles and walks past him, I guess.
He'll follow.
All right, guys. Well, you have successfully solved the Pied Piper of Esterbury one shot. Congratulations. And
With the power of punching.
with the power of punching small animals. Yes. It turns out that the other parties that I ran this for, they didn't punch the cat. Who would have guessed?
Weird.
Weird.
Such fragile animals. I mean,
such
it's such a
tiny-
simple
Such an
solution.
easy solution.
Oh God, I'm a horrible person. That's the solution.
You know, the fact I like it stems from the fact I didn't have to bear the
Right.
guilt of a small, cute, fluffy animal to death. But then
This is
again,
the
it was like an
second
old,
time.
creepy druid guy. So at the end of
Right.
the day,
Gosh.
Drake's got a history of punching things that other people aren't
Not
wanting to.
comfortable
Just...
punching.
Fair.
All right, guys. Well, this has been Irrational Radio. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, next week we'll be doing continuing Old for Gold, where we drag these guys through the desert. They are just at the cusp of finishing a major arc, so I'm very excited about that. Other than that, we have Table 13 on Thursdays, which is a kind of an informational show about DMing. We also have interviews. sometimes, and we do reviews. We've been going through Tasha's Cauldron some, and answering some community questions lately. So tune in for that on Thursdays. We also have a podcast, which I mentioned at the beginning of the episode as well. Dragons of Paralandia. You can find it anywhere podcasts are sold or given away. It is a complete arc, 2 seasons. It's great, and if you listen to that before the end of March, you'll be all set up for our new stream, which is going to come out sometime on Fridays about 9 o'clock here in a month and a half or so. So tune in for that. If you really want to rep some of our brand, we have a website, irrationalrad.io, with a shop. There is a new t-shirt coming
Is he?
out.
Is he handsome?
Right here. It's this t-shirt. This one. You can buy it as well as our other 2 t-shirt designs on our store, as well as some dice and some other merchandise. Merchandise. And if you really like us and just want to give us money, we have a Patreon. You do get some pretty cool rewards, like the getting involved in our Patreon game, which runs once a week right now in 2 groups.
You could have hit a cat.
Yes, if you're interested in joining the Darning Watch, join our Discord below. And if this happens again where we drop out, I might just summon a rando from the Discord to fill in for whoever drops out. And you could be one of those lucky randos taking part in the Darning Watch.
Your name has to be Lucky Rando, though. Like, that's
Right.
your character.
Yep.
You're stuck with it, but, it's a fun time.
Got him all filled out. He's a halfling divination wizard. You'll have a lot of fun. All right, so this has been Irrational Radio. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I have been your DM, and have a good night, everybody.
And cats, good night.
Yeah, don't punch your cats.
I
Give
don't
them-
usually.
give them
I
pets.
swear.
Yeah.
Eric's apologizing to his very own
Feel
cat.
terrible.
It's real cat. Yes. All right. Bye, everybody.